And we back. Oh my gosh. I have wanted to create another Greens for Keens video, and it's about time. I've just been craving it in my blood. And then, yeah, it feels good to be back at it. So, hello, everyone. My name is Michaela. I love health and wellness. I love researching health and wellness and learning about how we can better our health, learning about health conditions. And today we're talking about HPA-axis dysregulation. And we're going to jump into what that means, aka some people would use the term adrenal fatigue, but that's not really the proper terminology. Anyway, why don't we just jump into what this situation is? What is HPA-axis dysregulation? Okay. Adrenal fatigue, or HPA-axis dysregulation, it stands for hypothalamic pituitary adrenal axis. Like, that's the axis. And this axis is like a stress response system. So it's a part of the hormone and endocrine system. And I'll break down this a little more for you. Science is fun. I read some cool articles. But the adrenals, if you did not know, are these two glands above the kidneys that produce hormones like epinephrine and cortisol. I forgot to disclaim, by the way, I'm not a doctor. I'm not a scientist. Please don't take my word as like 100% I know this, or, you know, you should write this in the book of truth. But this is just like, I'm just a girl that loves wellness. So anyway, yeah, adrenals, they produce those hormones like cortisol, and then the hypothalamus is located at the base of the brain and communicates with the pituitary glands, which signals the adrenal glands. So that's how that kind of system works. And the pituitary also signals to the ovaries and the thyroid to secrete hormones. But under stress, the hypothalamic releases the CRH hormone, and then that signals the pituitary gland to release ACTH hormones, which then signals to the adrenals to release cortisol in little spurts into our bloodstream. So you may have heard, like, back in the day, when our ancestors like had stress, like a lion, or they were running away from a tiger, a situation like that, that's when this response would occur. But nowadays, this fight or flight response is much more activated, I would say, like, due to an increase of daily stressors. Just life is not as simple as it was back then, I guess. So yeah, when we're in high stress, though, this system gets dysregulated. Our adrenals that are signaling to like release this cortisol are just like constantly releasing cortisol, and our adrenals become taxed, and our metabolic reserve becomes depleted. And then I love this word that I discovered. This whole process of cortisol production, it overburdens your allolastic load, which refers to like accumulation of chronic stress and life events for our bodies. And our cortisol rhythm gets disrupted, so that's why it can affect our sleep, and it affects like other hormones like epinephrine and melatonin and DHEA. And so, yeah, it affects our sleep-wake cycle. and it decreases GABA, which is in the brain. Oh my gosh, it's already 5 minutes. So yeah, that's some crazy fact spitting right there. And cortisol also, when, it's released, it triggers a release of glucose, which bolsters our energy, but it can suppress our digestive system and our immune system and reproductive system and our insulin production. So it's just so tied together. And I also learned that there's cortisol receptors like in all of our cells, all over. So that's why it affects like our metabolism and our immune system and our behavior, because all these systems are tied together, and these systems also help us cope with stress. And so I just want to state and just say that having stress is normal. We should have healthy amounts of stress, but it's just when it becomes chronic and dysregulated is when it can wreak havoc on our system, and you get some symptoms. But I just want to state before I go into the symptoms and healing protocols, I just want to say that I know that, and just want to reassure you that healing's possible. Not I know, but I just want you to know healing is possible. If you're going through something like this, our bodies are wanting us to heal, and our cells are craving to heal. So our bodies are never against us. But I was reading this journal and about HPA-axis dysregulation, and there's a model where these systems were dysregulated, and they were all over time able to return back to their baseline levels of optimal health, and just their system went back to baseline. So that's just proof that our body can heal, and it can find that rhythm again of a healthy response. But it takes patience, and it takes months, maybe weeks to heal. So yeah, this is going to be part 1 of just the fact spitting of what HPA-axis dysregulation is. I know it's a lot. In the next video, I'm gonna talk about symptoms and healing and all that fun stuff. Okay. Peace out, Girl Scouts.